Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. It's been 8 weeks since I started my half Ironman preparation and this video series along with it. As I told you the last time, I had a block of 5 weeks of training with great progress, so it was about time to do some deloading before I move on to the second block of my prep next week. And I'd like to talk about why that is so important to have these recovery or deloading weeks planned as part of your routine. Consistent training and progressive training load is essential to improve our physical strength and muscular endurance, which are two key components of a successful half Ironman race. But your body can only accumulate so much load without getting overtrained or fatigued, and these are the two key factors which tend to lead to injuries. Obviously, I want to avoid injuries, so I do everything I can in order to keep a healthy balance between progress and recovery. So when I put together my 18 weeks long training plan for the half Ironman, I strategically placed the so-called deloading week on week 6, week 10 and week 14 as well. All other weeks of my program I increased my swim, bike and run mileage considerably week by week to get to the point where I can cover a 1.9k swim, a 90k bike and a 21.1k run back to back. It takes some work, but I feel like I'm getting there. Slowly and steadily, but I'm getting there. But back to deloading. So during a deloading week, you have to scale back your training and let your body absorb everything you put it through up to that point. It's like taking a minute break and a few deep breaths after a heavy set of exercise in the gym before you move on to the next one. If you don't give your body a chance to recover, it's going to break sooner or later. But deloading doesn't mean you don't train at all, not even close. You train at least as hard as any other week, it's just that you don't do as much volume as the preceding and the following weeks. Believe me, your body will be grateful for letting it recover from the vast volumes of training time to time. And it's not only your body that needs to slow down every now and then, but your mind too. I found myself focusing on my training and training only in the last couple of weeks, and I couldn't really relax. It was always the next workout I was thinking about. The second I finished something, I was like, okay, what's next? If, let's say, I was forced to get off my bike 5 minutes before I was supposed to finish according to my plan, I felt like I didn't do the work at all and it was all a waste. And that's not a necessarily good approach. I know that a lot of the extra pressure I've been feeling came from the situation we were all in during the lockdown, and being stuck in the same place for weeks and months and not being able to do a lot of things was not a joy. What I'm trying to say is that sometimes your mind needs a break from what you do every day and every week. And it's always good to plan ahead so you can look at it as part of your plan, which makes it easier to accept the change. I mean, it does make it easier for me if it's planned and written down, so I know I'm following my plan, because deviating from the plan for any random reason always makes me a bit uncomfortable. Just an example, we went on a little trip the other day to some beach we were not allowed to go to during the lockdown. The minute they lifted some of the travel restrictions, we drove there and we were supposed to have a nice day together. But I couldn't really enjoy the trip as some kind of an anxiety struck me as soon as we got there. I don't know if it was because of being in lockdown for so long and going somewhere unfamiliar for the first time, or it was because I was so focused on training that I couldn't just let it go for a couple of hours, but it was not a pleasant experience. What I'm trying to say is that strategically planned rest days, whole recovery weeks, or just a weekend with friends are more likely to be beneficial than unplanned ones. I'm not sure if that makes any sense at all to any of you, but this is how my brain works and that's how I approach almost everything I do. So I found that having these recovery weeks planned and written down had me avoid getting anxious about working out less than the week before, because I know it is beneficial to me and part of the plan and not just random laziness. I did all my workouts last week, 3 swims, 3 bikes and 3 runs with 2 strength trainings and some yoga and stretching of course, but I left a little room and flexibility in the routine for a change. For example, I didn't plan to swim on Sunday because we decided to spend the weekend with some friends, and I knew the weather was not going to be the best, so I did not put any pressure on myself about that third swim of the week. Of course, I ended up swimming a couple of 100 meters in the lake near the place where my friends live, and I have have to say it was a really bad and choppy swim, but I knew I didn't have to push it, so I took it relatively easy. So I did all the workouts as planned, but with less distance covered, and since we spent the weekend chillaxing, eating and talking a lot with our friends, I feel like both my body and my soul are recharged, and I'm ready to get back to increasing the training load and mileage next week again. And I believe that's mostly because of the planned deloading week. As an extra benefit, I got to work on my bike a little as some maintenance was long overdue. I needed a new cassette, and while putting it on, we realized that some further upgrades and replacements are needed, but that might be a story for another week. For now, I'm happy with how the bike works, but I ordered the new part with some essential new bottles and stuff I'm going to need on race day. We will talk about race day fueling and hydration strategies later down the road, I promise, as soon as I figure out all the details. But that's it for now. I hope you found the video somewhat interesting or at least a bit useful. I don't know about you, but I have learned a lot about myself and my training through making these videos the last couple of weeks, so there is definitely more to come. Oh, and the good news is that my gym opens again on the 6th of July, so there is only another 2 weeks I have to go through without a swimming pool, so I cannot wait to be able to go back there again. If you have any questions or advice, please leave a comment below. Thanks for watching, see you next time.